Okay. That is Umacha Hashem Dima Me'al Kopanim.
Could you give the number of the first page that you sent?
So we're not starting from pages that I sent. We're starting from previous pages. We're going to be on Kuf Mem Gimel.
Now.
Kuf Mem Gimel. Because we didn't finish last time. If I remember right, we didn't finish. And so we're going to finish the previous chapter and start a new chapter.
Okay, and which chapter?
We're just going to go in order. You Kuf Mem Gimel, Kuf Mem Dalet, Kuf Mem Hey, Kuf Mem Vav. We do all four. We'll make a party. Okay, is that clear?
Yeah, thank you.
Great. Okay. Maise Beyatom. A story of an orphan, Meyusar Ad Daka, who was in great pain. In great pain. And Nasa Yedid Karov L'Chavero. And he became very close with a friend of his. And Mitchilas Darkam Dibru Hashnayim B'Torah v'Chassidus. At the beginning, as this orphan became closer and closer to this friend, what they spoke about was Torah and Chassidus, kind of like abstract spiritual ideas. And V'lo Shitef HaKo'ev Es HaYedid Klal U'Klal Machavi Nafsho. But the person who was the orphan, he didn't involve his friend at all in the pain that he was going through. Right? They would talk Torah, they would talk Chassidus. So I'm just trying to find, because remember somebody wanted the link. They didn't. They only talked Torah. Only talked Torah. Did not get personal. And so, I told this person starting. And so, he was showing his friend how deep of an understanding he had, and how they had just a lovely time explaining and connecting to the ideas. We didn't let him anywhere in to his own soul, where he was actually personally at. And particularly, he actually felt the need to cover up the fact that he was even an orphan. Like most people, I'm not looking for pity, right? And so, like, when you have like friends, especially they're, let's say, teenagers or late teen, 18-year-olds, 19-year-olds, they have to wear it on my sleeve that I'm an orphan, like we're connecting as friends. When they got old and became adults, they started doing business. And but the pain that the orphan was carrying around got pushed deeper and deeper inside. Didn't even come up to his own heart, didn't even come up to within his own consciousness. So certainly they didn't come up as a conversation piece, right? As they grow older, they went into business and they even were partners, sounds like, in business. And the orphan's pain didn't even come up in his own mind, let alone bringing it up in conversation. And they get closer and closer over years and years. Actually, his damnut nitkarbu halevavot yoter nitrakhes me'at lev hayosam. They got close enough that the orphan's heart got softer and felt he could open up more than usual. Laniach petach al nafsho yoter me'ragil. Oaz niftach piv l'saper. So his mouth opened to tell. Adibur Rishon Gadar Sheni Shlishi said one thing about the pain that he's been carrying since childhood, and another thing, and things start linking together. I had no one to celebrate my birthdays, and no one to walk me to the chuppah, and etc., and all the, everything, right? Hine hidbarer ki asocher navon denan. Hino pikat machov. So the friend now is learning that my bright Torah scholar and businessman friend is actually has carrying around a lot of pain. Malepitze nefesh amukim, he's filled with deep wounds. Shahayut echukim v'nistarim, that had all up until now been hidden away and unexpressed. Me'az ve'elach echelu sichoteim hoskot be'inyanim ke'uvim shebenefesh. And from then on, their conversations for a long time were all about different kinds of pains in the soul. Meluvim b'dmaot rotchot, and even accompanied by hot tears. Mipam lepam, boiling tears, he says. Mipam lepam haya hayatom mitztaek b'ke'ev klaper chaver p'kiyat shonot shepagabo b'malach hashanim, gemule elbon umapach nefesh. Even sometimes he even expressed pain about all the different things that the friend couldn't have realized when he would make comments or he would say things he couldn't have realized, but that caused him pain, right? The Gabul Alban caused him embarrassment and mapach nefesh. Shanim atzar b'tocho v'lo higiv. For years, he kept it inside and did not express it. Achata ba et lehalot et advarim b'izgalia. But now, the time came to just blurt it all out, just get it all off his chest. Here, hayadid. So the friend is thinking, why did this have to happen in such a nice relationship until now, right? He's like, where have those days gone where we used to have my friend who would talk with me about ideas of Chassidus or business matters. Like, I miss this friend who was like this bright, energetic person, right? I'm not talking about soul issues, emotional issues, right? What we used to talk was always so nice. Those nice points we would each bring in would connect us. So what's happened now? Seems like just only negative and more negative keeps coming up to the surface. When this friend goes and gets advice from an understanding person, Amarlo, his advisor, said to him, go give thanks to Hashem. that you have such good friendship, that you're so close, that he feels safe enough to express this, right? You hear where we're going in terms of Hitbodedut, right? Gewalt, right? Uh-huh.
Is that what I'm hearing?
What do you mean blaming the victim? I don't understand.
Said, like I miss the old days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so he goes to ask an advisor of his, and the advisor says you should give thanks that he's telling you all this painful stuff.
You express his pain. So that's a gift that you have such a good friendship. Even though you miss being in the oblivious.
Right. Yeah. Right. This is this amazing idea that we need to feel safe enough in order to express our pain. Right. I don't know. And is it safe? Right. For a lot of people nowadays, there's group healing that happens. And sometimes hearing someone else's story that's similar, not the same, but enough, and that, wow, they had the courage to express. I also express, and a lot of amazing things happen in those kinds of situations. But to get to that point, where you even join a healing group or to develop a friendship deep enough, it can take years. It can take decades until these deeper things that we didn't even have language for ourselves, couldn't even explain to them. I know there was something wrong about how I grew up, but I could never put my finger on it. I don't know, because as children, the adults around us just set the reality and we just accept it. We don't even analyze it. We don't have the critical thinking to even understand what's going on with us, let alone stand up for ourselves in various ways. So for healing to happen later on, the friendship needs to be close enough. There needs to be a solid enough container that I feel like they're not going to run away from me. They're not going to reject me. And even here, the friend even was having thoughts of like, what's going on here, right? And thankfully, he went and spoke to his advisor before like really throwing his friend for a loop. Because if he would actually say, you're not so fun to hang out with anymore, that could destroy him, because like he finally feels safe enough to express, right? No, so he didn't do that. He went and spoke to someone else. Like, thank God, he was wise enough to do that, right? We can understand where we're going here with these Hitbodedut, that there may be things that we're not bringing up with Hashem, maybe because we're not so sure if it's safe. Maybe Hashem's going to punish me. Maybe I'm embarrassed. Maybe there's so much. We spoke about this a little on the point here. It's my ideas about Hashem need healing first. My relationship with Hashem needs to be brought towards emes. So the thing is that, like Rabbi Nachman told Rav Nosson when they first met, one of the first times they met, he put his arm around Rav Nosson and said, you need to talk to Hashem like you would to a good and trusted friend. And Rav Nosson heard that. He said, I realized at that moment that I actually could do tshuva, right? Because I'm safe enough to like just put it all on the table and start really doing the work, right? Safe enough. Like it's not Hashem. There's Avinu. Shlomo puts it this way, because that one of the great I forgot his name. One of the great sages who wrote.
This meeting is being recorded.
Oops. Oh, did I forget to press record? I don't think I forgot. Anyway, in the Sefer, Rabbi Lazar ben Moshe Azikri, the author of Sefer HaCharedim, he also wrote the poem Yedid Nefesh, right? And his Sefer Charedim had nothing to do with the sociological term today, Charedim. He wrote it in the late 1500s, long before the social term Charedim existed. And what? Did I don't know. I'm just explaining. Fine. So his Sefer HaCharedim is an incredible Sefer. It's so beautiful. It's mamish. It reads like a Sefer Chassidus. He lived before the Baal Shem Tov, but one of the cool things he does is he divides the mitzvahs to the parts of the body. Mitzvahs you do with your eyes, mitzvahs you do with your nose. It's so cool. Like observing Hashem with all the different parts of my body. It's a very cool Sefer. Highly recommend. It's not a hard Sefer. Not a hard Sefer. You can learn it. I don't know if it's been translated. Yeah. If you have the Hebrew, it's not a hard Sefer. It's not such a hard Hebrew. I don't know if it's been translated. In any case, he wrote Yedid Nefesh, which is.
I think it's been translated. I have to find the name of the Sefer.
You could certainly search. Actually, I can ask AI right now.
But her name, it was Menucha Ben David, and maybe you can find it that way until I actually find the actual name of the Sefer. I'm pretty sure that's.
It says that according to AI, there's no complete mainstream English translation of the entire Sefer Charedim. Whatever, you can search around and see what you find. Salam. What's your name? Dalia. You just came from?
What?
You just came from the. Did you just come from the trip to the Tzaddikim? No. That wasn't the one. Maybe get confused with your new one. Yeah. Right, right. It's Aliza. Exactly. Oh my gosh. Excuse me for that. Yuvaldik.
What? We're all
Exactly. We're all sisters. So we just learned a story. It's a fictional story, but for the purpose of understanding Hitbodedut, like this whole sefer is about, that if we want to learn how to do Hitbodedut, we have to become wiser and deeper in all of our relationships, because in the mind has a sort of grand schema understanding of what it means to relate, and the healthier we are, the healthier it'll be with Hashem. And so, for instance, he brought this story about a orphan who had a best friend, and they grew up together, and they learned Torah, and they had wonderful conversations, and became businessmen together. And only much later, decades later, did he feel safe enough to start speaking about his pain of having been orphaned at a young age. And the friend goes to speak to his advisor and says, what happened? I have this friend, he was always happy and positive, and now all this negative's coming out. And the advisor said, go thank Hashem that you have such a deep friendship, that he feels safe enough to talk to you about this, right? So this is, in Hitbodedut, something to be aware of. Is there a part of me that's embarrassed, or a part of me that doesn't feel safe enough to start voicing things that maybe I never even voiced to my own self yet, to bring out these deeper inner energies, right? We're learning the chapters here about pain, like sort of 3 weeks energy. We happen to have gotten up to them just within the same. There's a bunch of chapters about pain and distance and tears and etc. And that in fact, when it's in the right way, it can be so wonderful to be able to finally have a space within which I can really say everything. And Rabbi Nachman put his arm around Reb Nosson and said, you can talk to Hashem like you would to a dear and trusted friend. And when Reb Nosson heard this, he said, I understood that I can really do tshuva. I can really do tshuva.
I'm the other person, the friend that was uncomfortable.
He just wasn't understanding what was happening. When? Maybe. We have to, let's see the words that he's putting it. Let's feel.
No, you don't know what to say.
Right. Sometimes, right. Sometimes a big part of it is that we think we need to have something to say, but really, yes, just being there is, and sometimes repeating it back, and you may even say, wow, so this and this and this, if that would happen to me, I would feel like this. Is that how you felt? and then it helps the person to get to their feelings, and sometimes you'll get it right, sometimes not. It doesn't matter, but right. But to solve it, who I learned this from? I learned this from the author of 7 Habits of Highly Successful, Stephen Covey. He has some beautiful teachings about how to be a good listener.
Yeah.
The way he speaks it out is so strong. And he says the first thing is to actually listen and not interrupt. That's like the first thing. the second thing, I'm not going to remember everything he says, is you should look it up, but you can find, I'm sure recordings are online. To be able to repeat it back and make sure that it helps a person to feel heard when you can say it back to them, and when you can suggest possible emotional responses that can also be helpful. What not to do is to, when it's this kind, sometimes people are looking for a solution. They're asking you for a solution, then give out, to help them. Sometimes it is like a practical matter. Not all sharings are the same. But when they're just sharing for the sake, because they want to get it off their chest, it's dafka not about solutions. And to start talking about solutions can be very negative for the person, because it's not, like, I've been living with this for decades. You haven't just listened, I'm not, unless I ask, I'm not, that's not what I'm looking for. The other thing also is not to do, and this is something that people often do, is to give your own story that you think is similar, that happened to you. Oh, I understand. No, this happened to me, and then right. And right, and so often it really isn't the same thing, right? It's something that's a kind of a selfish kind of a place, because I think I understand life. At this, for after, a different percent. Yeah. Yes.
The most lovely thing to say is tell me more.
Yeah, tell me more. Is that the whole thing? Tell me more, mamish. So Yedidus, I brought in this author of the Sefer HaChreidim, Rabbi Elazar ben Moshe Azikri, author of Yedid Nefesh, the author of Yedid Nefesh. What an amazing thing to bring Yedid Nefesh to Am Yisrael. Wow, like, of all the poems ever written, like, it's up there, pretty high. and he is really bringing in this nekuda. I think why it got accepted. It's almost like psukim. It's almost like nevuah. That this poem, why is it struck such a deep chord for Am Yisrael? Is because Yedid Nefesh, the Hashem, is our friend, our capital F friend. Also, we're so used to Avinu, Malkeinu, etc. But Yedid strikes a deep chord from himself. We need this, and it's emes. Like Rabbi Nachman told Rab Nosson, he put his arm on him to speak to a friend, Hashem, like you would to a good friend. So Rab Shlomo once said, there are a good number of people who relate to Hashem as Melech. A lesser number of people who relate to Hashem as Av, as a father, higher level of love and connectivity. It says, but Yedid Nefesh says, Chevra, Hashem has almost pretty much no friends. He's looking. This Shlomo, that's how Shlomo put it. It's Gavaldik, right? He's looking. But he's the best Yedid ever. But we don't trust it. It's mamish this nekuda. Why don't we go to being Yedid Hashem? Why are we afraid to say? Why can't we do it? Is we're lacking in trust. And this is one of the biggest, deepest avodas of Hitbodedut. And the first dibur that we have from Rabbeinu about Hitbodedut. Yeah. You are the Yedid of my nefesh. You're the deed of myself. Yeah.
Rabbi Hundred, also,
Soul friend. Yeah.
Shevach was called Yedidya, right?
I can't hear both things.
Sorry.
Miriam, 1 second. Okay, Miriam, go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, wasn't Shlomo HaMelech also called Yedidia?
Yes, that was one of his names.
And is he the only one who had that appellation?
Don't know.
Or was it?
In Tanakh, I guess. I don't know. To check
Yeah.
the what do you call it? The
Yeah.
Concordat.
Mm.
You know? Yeah. Okay. So the Yedidus is so deep. It's one of the major things that Rabbi Nachman is bringing to the world. That Hitbodedut means to talk to Hashem like you would to a good and trusted friend, and that there's avoda on our part to trust, to feel safe, that there's a container here. I can say things that are hard to say. I can find the words for things that I've never been able to say in my life ever. Right? So back to our Sefer, he says, so the advisor is telling the friend, Seva hodal Hashem Yisbarach, go thank Hashem, Sheba Yedido Seichem, Matzav Kol Karov, that your friendship has come so close. Bo kvar ein tal litasek ma she'eno mipnimi denevesh, to the point where talking about, even talking Torah, and it doesn't have tam, it's missing tam. It's a unique relationship where you can really reveal yourself, so to talk and connect about deep things. It's like missing something to just, it's like missing real taste to start talking about even spiritual matters when you could be talking about life and really, really connecting and sharing. Libotechem ba'im atal ha'is amitis upnimis. Your hearts are now coming, says the advisor to this friend. The two of you in that friendship, your hearts have come to a place of real unifying, true hityachadut, upnimit, an inner connection. Va'ke'ev, and the pain, edut al kach. It's actually the fact that there are painful things coming up is a testimony of this. Kihine matzav hayatom makom. Finally, the orphan has found a space, a safe space, safe space. Lahotzi ke'evo. Achar shanim rabot shel machnak benafsho, after years of feeling stifled. And by the way, this is something that happens in marriage as well. A lot of times people have a Shana Rishona as a very hard year for them. Sometimes the first 5 years, sometimes whatever. that all these painful things start coming up. Sometimes it happens before, even within dating. And it's a very subtle thing to be able to tell. Are these negative things coming up because it's really not good, think something's really off? Or are these negative things coming up because we feel safe enough to act out a little bit? I can have a tantrum. I never could. No, I'm saying serious. And so it could be such a crazy turnoff for the spouse. Yeah. For the spouse, it's like, oh my gosh, I married a monster, right? But they don't realize this is actually a siman tov. Now again, it's very nuanced and very subtle, and sometimes it's a siman ra.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's a siman ra. I mean, there's no klalim, but sometimes it's a siman tov, that I'm actually safe enough, and as a single person, there is no relationship like a spousal relationship where I can fully do this, right? And I think a lot of times people turn away from relationship because they don't want to fit. The demons start coming out, which is actually good. That's what you can't do it as a single person all the way. A lot you can, but you can't all the way. When the demons start coming out, head for the hills. I have a nice tidy apartment. Under that, don't lift the carpet because underneath there's all my pain, right? but gewollt, you know. So if I meet someone and stuff starts coming out, it feels like this is horrific, but it could be there's a tzarich harbe tefillah verbe, I don't know what, you have to figure this out. I don't know exactly how, but your soul can know. Is it actually because I'm safe enough, and he's safe enough, or she's safe enough to, right? Is it actually a siman tov, which it might be? And this is something to take into our Hitbodedut also. Can I get safe enough with Hashem to really have it out, to sometimes just lose it in my Hitbodedut. Or it could be not just also one time he told Reb Nosson, and we spoke about this a few times, that sometimes you have to say just syllables, not even whole words, just sounds. Because you don't have, your mind can't form the words yet because you've never said it before. You have to just that is a major part of these Hitbodedut. Because it's like birthing. It's like birthing. Like the Zohar HaKadosh says, it's not that the woman cries out because she's having the baby. She's crying out in order to have the baby. The cries actually are part of the Leida. With these words, they form that these Hitbodedut, we can do this, we have this, we can do this in these Hitbodedut. It needs to open, right, mamas. Judy knows, yeah.
Just asking me the other day, it's really cute. I have this special relationship with this young man whose birthday I was at.
Well, yeah.
And before he got married, he was consulting me when he got married, and then when they were pregnant,
Wow.
and now they have like 2 children already. But anyway, the reason I'm telling you this is because just the other day he texted me and asked if I've ever heard that a laboring woman is recommended or advised to take tobacco.
Huh.
Tobacco.
Tobacco.
You know, like
How big that you smell?
like
chew.
Chewing.
how do you say?
Cloves.
Like
Cloves?
Cigarette? What?
no, not cigarette.
Is it cloves?
To smell. You know, like
That's
the
cloves. The
how do you say
salmon.
Yes,
Schmeck-
you
I-
smell in Europe. It was a very, very popular thing. They would
Chassidim.
they
No.
would put tobacco to like a
Yeah.
silver snuff box, and they would
and
inhale it.
so he said, "Do I know anything about it?"
Yeah.
And I explained to him that it's probably I don't know so much about it, but anything then when she's sneezing from this tobacco,
Yeah.
she'll
Sneeze the baby out.
It opens up.
open her.
Wow. Incredible.
It's habig.
Geweldig.
Habig.
Habig.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Baruch Hashem, we continue that tradition in my shul. Fine. Now we know. There's all the way here.
With some
Oh.
to our campaign.
Wonderful. Amazing. Incredible. Simchat we're officially going live next week, but we're Chassidus. Okay. So back into our story. Kayotze b'zeh, kasher Yehudi mitkarev l'Hashem yitbarach. So similarly, when a Yid is getting closer and closer to Hashem, this is also something to. There's an aspect of this that takes time. That his Hitbodedut takes time, meaning being regular with it, and you will build up trust within yourself through being devoted to it, being, shall we say, religious about it. So this is the right, because we were learning the other night from Esther Hamalka that she had this first audience with the Melech, and then she requested another one because she wasn't sure. Rav Shlomo Alkovitz brings from Rabbi Meir Arama that she wasn't sure exactly what to do yet. So she said, I need another one, right? And that is okay. That's also part of how tefillah works. Like, not necessarily like have like this perfect epiphany, his Hitbodedut, where everything comes out, it's all done, and like it's adarabah, it's a process thing. I show you Yehudi we get closer and closer to Hashem, and we build this safety. We build this container. We build this relationship, this connectivity with Hashem, with the Yedid Nefesh, with this Yedidus, this friendship with the Kadosh Baruch Hu, this trusted thing. This Yachadus Udvekus, with unifying, in a unifying way, and real cleaving, connecting, Magim Zmanim, until times come when that deep groans and sighs from the depths of my heart can start to come out. Team. like such as Lama tastir panecha mimeni. Hashem, why are you hiding your face from me? Really, really just say out all of that pain, all of that, right? My friend Rabbi Yoshua Gerzi, he says this beautiful thing about a sukkah. There's a minhag to shake the lulav in a sukkah, right? The sukkah represents the safe space, Hashem's hug, Hashem's safe space. And then inside you're shaking, like people, when they're really saying things that they have to get out of their heart, they shake and cry and you shake, right? It's so beautiful, right? Just like, yeah, this little quivering lulav that's just like getting it out in the embrace of the sukkah. Yeshu b'tarer legaim. So some people think, Mali nusach kaze hechan yamei or shebahem hayu limudai al gadol Hashem yispar lama zot yirida diktucha shel nefesh. Some people, they think like similar to that friend. They say, used to be, I would come into these Hitbodedut with all these beautiful Chassidus that I learned, and this was happening, and that, and I had all these things to talk with Hashem about that were great. Why suddenly is it so sour and hard, and I have to go to these dark places, right? But we have to realize that the fact that that's coming up for you now in your Hitbodedut and you're encountering this is a good sign of your Hitbodedut. It's not something to pull you away from these Hitbodedut. Yes, the fact,
it's not comfortable.
right. The beginning, in a certain way, this mashal with sukkahs is very, very deep because one thing that I noticed over the years, I never saw this in any sefer, but I feel it's a mystic thing, that Pesach and Shavuos essentially are moments. There was this one moment where we left Mitzrayim, some people say it was even while we were in Mitzrayim, Chatzot, that moment where the firstborn died and Paro said, "Get out of here." We were like effectively out. Or the moment of sunrise where we actually walked out. And Har Sinai also, Rashi says, that Hashem spoke these words, that the entire 10 Commandments came in one moment. And then Hashem said it again over in a sequential, audible manner. But it was a moment. Har Sinai was like a download. It was like, just like above time, a moment. And Sukkot is 40 years of being in the desert. Like an incredible thing. And usually we think, what's religion? What's spiritual? I have all this long process to get to these climactic moments. But by us, it's the opposite. The climactic moments are to get you into process. Okay? Have a climactic moment. Wow, we really connect. And another climactic. Wow, do we connect? And then we're in a sukkah. I'm going to start shaking it out loud. And now we can read that. It's still, oh my gosh, the 2,000 years been already developed. And like, yeah, vada. Even just this past year, we have enough to, right. So some people feel like at the beginning I had these climactic connectivities. I had these shmonesreis of like, I'm in, it's good. And what happened? Like it used to be so good,
The Yom Kippur.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Now the Rabbah, now the Dafka, right? And it's so interesting that in Hilchas Sukkah, like really, the main thing you're supposed to do in the Sukkah is eat and drink and sleep and hang out. Torah and Tefillah, the halacha is that like you should better daven with a minyan, and if you learn better in an air-conditioned proper base midrash, you should go learn there. So what's the Sukkah really for? It's that other stuff. It's the simcha. It's the simcha of the rest of your life being brought in. It's not only when I'm being officially religious. It's the achila, shtia, shena, tiyul. Like they call it tiyul, like hanging out.
Rabbi Hunter, before you said Torah and Tefillah, where it's better to daven with the minyan, right before that you said something else, but I didn't catch it.
Oh, I don't know. But I said that the sukkah is not that. Like the sukkah, the essential mitzvahs of sukkah are just me being me being eating and drinking and sleeping and hanging out, right?
Yes, that was it.
And feeling safe there, right? And so that's what he's Hitbodedut, like it's actually the initial stages of Hitbodedut are climactic and wow. And then when it gets deeper, a lot of people stop doing Hitbodedut when that happens. It starts getting heavy, it starts feeling and they walk away, or they shorten the time, or they pre-script his Hitbodedut. They come in with all try to but the whole yofi of these Hitbodedut is that now you've developed enough safety with your deed nefesh with Hashem, your soul friend, that you can really go there, and it's not a negative. It's actually amazing positive. The siman tov. Says Yamim Chayila Shel Gilui Mamaka and Nefesh Nei Hashem Yisbarach Me'idim Al Kirva Me'ein Kamoa. This ability that I feel safe and able to express the depths of my pain and what's going on is very deep. There's nothing like it. Dibur Elav Velorak Alav. This is speaking to Hashem and not just speaking about Hashem, right? And very, very deep. That's we spoke about before. The Rav Dov Zinger is very into this. To speak to and not about. At the beginning, I'm speaking about things, about this idea, about that. And here I'm speaking to Hashem. And oftentimes it starts with this release of different kinds of pain, and then it doesn't have to only stay there. But the Dibur Elav, Gilui Kol HaMistarim Lefanav Yisbarach, to really get out all my hidden things in front of Hashem. Ze'or Anachat Galut. Hanechama shebemitz b'metzulatein, she'omdim anu b'si shel kirva ad kedei gilui ma'amakim. Gewalt. This is the light of the size of exile. The nechama, while we're still entrapped, is that we can speak it all out, right? And there's this closeness that we get to that is higher than the distinction between Golus and Geula. We get to this amazing connectivity that is incredible. And finish up the chapter. Where are we holding with time? So we're going to go a little over because I started late. We'll go another maybe 10-ish minutes. So the pain about the lack of yichud. Teva hamizboded shenafsho magat tamid lasok b'tzar hashchina. V'lichora harei medubar habe she'ikar yichud ha'izbodedus hu mitzad ha'yichud ha'shalem lo mitzad ha'galus u'matzav ha'nefesh kefi shehi mitzida. Right? What the norm of Hitbodedut is that we're dealing with the pain of the Shechina, which is meaning the pain of your soul, of the lost princess that you are, that we all are. And Lichora says, "Harei medubar harbe she'ikar yichud Hitbodedut." The main thing of Hitbodedut is the connectivity, and not feeling like, because he spoke about this earlier in the previous chapter, that sometimes there's like a shadow side to this, that it's not really Hitbodedut unless I'm like really in this dark place, right? There's a yeah, right? True, but this is this. Nachon, there is truth. It's a subtle thing, like. Is art only possible because of pain, right? No, it is, a lot of it is, but some of it is just also, at least a good chunk, even most maybe, is like when my soul just is exploring and expressing and delightfully, experimenting, etc. Right? It's not only right. So he's just dealing with this now. Like, what is yichud? What does it mean? True connectivity. Baram, Havana Bezet, the understanding here is Shekashem She'osek B'Nekut Tova B'Nafsho, Magdil Bezet Tova Marchik Tfei Meran. The same way that when I'm speaking about the positives within me, which is also a very important part of my yichud with Hashem. Hashem, help me, please, to value that I'm wearing tzitzis right now. that I'm learning Torah and Yerushalayim right now, right? We need help with these things. We don't necessarily value our Nekudas Tovos, and that's it's a major. Yeah.
You did that.
Hmm.
Fish, you should be a friend, that fish.
Yeah.
That, what they're saying now is that you should, don't put yourself down.
Don't put just be yourself, be a friend to your nefesh. 100%.
Exactly.
There's a pasuk in there's a pasuk in like Gomel Nafsho Ish Chesed, that you're called an Ish Chesed when you're giving to your own nefesh. The amazing pasuk. Gomel Nafsho Ish Chesed, maybe Ish Chasid. Do you see Masechet Shabbos over there, the third from the right? Oh, okay, because it Shabbos, yeah, and then I can get it online also. I get it online. It's okay. You see, it's the third. You see the Shas. It's the third one from the right. Third from the right. Gomel Nafsho Ish Chesed is Mishlei chapter 11. No. It's okay. In the Shas. The second. Yeah. It's okay. Yeah. Sorry. Thank you. So the Gemara brings this idea in Masechet Shabbos. Daf Ku Chaf Zayin and
Love Zion?
Kuf Chaf Zayin 127.
Oh, thank you.
And the Gemara says that that tefillah, there's one opinion that davening is called chesed. So how does that make any sense? Rashi says, one second. Iyun tefillah hainu bichlal gemilus chasadim. Dichsiv goimel nafsho ish chesed. That davening itself is part of gemilus chasadim, because you're giving to your own nefesh by davening. Totally amazing Rashi. Yeah. So. Any case, so he's saying here, the who had sar v'hachipus ram ha'avana b'zeh shekashem she'ozik b'nekudas tovos, just like looking for the good expands the good and distances the negative. So the closer that we get to a Kadosh Baruch Hu, to a sense of real yichud with Hashem, more we're really going every day in His Hitbodedut, then anything that takes away from that connectivity becomes more and more painful. הדבר טבעי ביותר אצלו הוא הצער והחיפוש אחר כיבוש השם שיצא ממקדש, כי מתוך הגדלת הקרבה מרגיש ביותר בנפשו באו גויים מנחלתך ושאר ענייני הגלוס. So like a person who is getting more, learning more, and connecting more to how incredible it is to have a mikdash, like we have in the summer now, heading towards Shiva Sabbat Tammuz. So the more they feel how terrible it is that it's been taken away, right? So for instance, you have a person who isn't really trying to be so aware of Hashem and have faith and feel Hashem feeding them when they're eating food, because eating a lot doesn't bother him. Who doesn't see it as something that can get in the way of connectivity with Hashem when I'm eating in a non-conscious way, right? Again, I'm not trying to. This is we had a whole shir about the no. It was right. Right. It's all up on Spotify, and we did a lot of shir. Did like I think a whole year on it, and the sweetness and greatness of really feeling yourself being being nourished by Kodesh Baruch Hu. Wow, but somebody who doesn't even realize that eating has anything to do, they don't know that that maybe when I'm overeating in some way, I'm escaping, and in some way I'm avoiding, and etc. And they don't realize that it's actually distancing them from Hashem in some way. But a person, the person who realizes more deeply that they have this ongoing, really present moment connection with Hashem all the time, and feels safe with that, and feels yedid nefesh, so then it will bother them to overeat. It will be they'll feel the distancing the same way that, like, if I have time with my best friend, and we make a time, we go for the coffee, and the whole time I'm like bothering myself with like the portions. They used to have, like, a little bit more Jackie Mason, call this a portion. This is not a cake, it's a cookie, whatever. But like, like but it makes you imagine how it would feel to the friend if you finally have time to hang out, and you're just patchking and eating and I'll have another one. Can I try also the cinnamon? And you're like, talking with your mouth open and whatever. There's like a point where it's like obvious that, like, hello, I'm here, like kind of a thing. And there's levels upon levels. And so, in fact, the closer I get to Hashem, the more I'm like, "Nu Hashem, where is that Beis Hamikdash? I know it's only going to be all the way real over there." And you start really meaning it, right? You start really meaning it. Lachein, Evi Shulchan Aruch is Inyan Eitzar al Churban. In Shulchan Aruch at the very beginning, the first siman of Shulchan Aruch, Ra'ui l'chol yirei shamayim leads ta'er. It's proper. The Shulchan Aruch says it's proper for you to feel sa'ar about the destruction of the temple. Right after, right, Sif Aleph.
Amazing library.
It's amazing. The best. So the Shulchan Aruch begins. Is gaber ka'ari, so to wake up like a lion. Lamod b'boker, but it's barley shame. Humar is hashachar, awaken the dawn. And then the Rama says, first he says, at least don't be late for davening, and then he says, Shivis Hashem negdi tamid, that a person should put Hashem before them always, right? And then the next thing is, one who wakes up to daven before Hashem, litchanen, and to plead, right, to the Beis Hamikdash, should daven at special times at night. The davening about the Churban and the Galus. And then Sif Gimel, Ra'ui l'chol yirei shamayim, she'metzer v'doeg l'chol, just proper for everyone who is Yirat Shamayim to feel the pain about the destruction of the temple. Right at the beginning of Shulchan Aruch. It's not like way later after Mariv, like it's nighttime halachas. It's like right at the... And so he says, and what it comes right after Shivisi, the Sham Katav Advar Malus Tzadikim Shehochel Ne'er Elokim Shesim Adam Libo Shemelch Gadol Kodesh Baruch Hu. The Rama expands on Shivisi and says, "This is the way tzaddikim live, because the way you act won't be the same if you're before a king than you would act just alone, and how much more so when it's the King of all kings, when you're in front of Hashem all the time." And therefore, right after that comes to wake up and daven about the destruction of the temple. Because the more we're keeping Sif Aleph, the more we're aware of closeness and connectivity with Hashem, the more we're going to become aware of that which gets in the way of that connectivity, and feel the pain of it and daven about it. Adkan, questions and thoughts? Yeah.
Some
Mm.
when we're at that level,
Mhm.
being really connected,
Yeah.
you just yearn for that connection.
Yes, it's exactly that is the height of Shabbos. Raiva deriving, the will of wills, the third meal of Shabbos. The Arizal calls it the feast of Raiva deriving, of the deepest wanting and longing. Right. Very, very amazing. Yes. Hi. Welcome. Thank you for coming. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Stan, when Hashverosh asked Esther what she wanted,
Yeah.
and then he said, "Puts me Hamikdash."
Mhm.
Why was that in his sanction? I didn't understand what he said.
Because Achashverosh, that was the one thing Achashverosh didn't want, was the mikdash, because even though he valued Esther as the queen and
Yeah.
but the Gemara says it chatzi milashon lachatzot, like to chatzitza,
Yeah.
like it's a blockage and interfere with his malchus, because he's ready. He wants to give all the honor in the world to Esther as his queen. He loves her, but don't mess with my malchus. I'm not. I'm the king of the known world. He was the king of 127 countries. If the Jews build a mikdash, it's going to magnetically draw people. It's going to be. It is just the center of the world, and I'm trying to make Shushan, to make a 180-day party to show that Shushan is the center of the world. Yeah. Oh, he knew. Oh, yeah. He understood exactly. No. No. He understood exactly what it would do to his malchus. Yes, that's what the Gemara says. That's the Gemara. Yeah.